Let's rock this joint!
All right, everybody, welcome back to Informed Nostalgia, where tonight we're going to talk about what, Sam?
Stan Wars?
Stan Wars. This is more of a one-sided thing. Sam didn't really participate in this, but in my early 20s or in late teens, I was a menace on the internet, or maybe still am a menace on the internet, and I participated in the Stan Wars.
I've gotten into plenty of intense, debates about pop culture and art and politics with my friends in real life, but I've not really done it on the internet. Occasionally I've done it in politics, and I've almost immediately regret it because people just lose all their sense of decorum when they're arguing with other people online because these are people they don't know personally usually, and so they'll end up just saying whatever and things that might get them punched in the face if they were to say it. If they were to say things in real life, because you just don't care. Not everybody does this, but I've seen it happen. People are really rude. But in any event, I never got into it in the chat rooms. I never got into Stan Wars, and I don't regret not having done it, but I do understand how it can be really fun, and I really want to dive into that with you. I want to find out what was that like. Who were you standing for? Who were you frequently arguing against? I would love to know what is it about Stan Wars that you think has become such a prevalent part of our culture.
Well, I'll say this now. I don't really know. I mean, I think the Stan Wars we just do on social media now. But whenever in the I started in the 2010s, after I graduated nursing school.
Such a
Or
baby.
no, before. It was 2007 when Gimme More came out because I'm a Britney stan. And if anyone doesn't know what a stan is based on the Eminem song Stan, where it's so toxic, y'all. It's such a terrible he was such a big fan of Eminem, the song, the character in the song, that he would write him, and then he became so obsessed. And when Eminem didn't write him back, he killed his girlfriend, he killed himself, and ran it. It was it's like a nickname super fans give themselves because they're so obsessed with an artist. Do I think that's healthy? Disclaimer: no, I don't think that's healthy. And do I stan people now? Not really, no. But I remember being part of the culture in college. I was a Britney stan. I enjoyed everything about Britney. You couldn't tell me anything negative about Britney and that I didn't know and I didn't embrace. I loved the message boards on IMDb and BreatheHeavy.com, which was Britney Spears' super big fan site that was ran by a big fan. His name's Jordan. He's still around. The site's still around. But it had a big following on the message boards. And the message boards were not just for Britney. They had the general one that had all the different pop stars in it, and we would have Stan Wars. You would literally learn so much about your favorite movie, pop star, actress, anything, and you would basically battle people. And I'm really dating myself. MTV used to have a TV show called Your Mama, and you would battle each other with your mama jokes. But this was more my stan is my favorite pop star is charting #1. Yours hasn't been on the Billboard charts in 2 years. Where you at? You're you a flop stan. Or you didn't know something, so you're a flop, or your fave's a flop. It was all fun. I felt it was. I just was talking to Sam. I said I don't think that that's healthy in general anymore. But I thought the general practice was fun because we were not shy about reading our favorites. We knew what was bad. We knew how to we understood when it was a flop era and all that. It wasn't a lot of things I see now in stan culture or whatever is that people nothing's ever bad, right? Everything's always amazing. We can't discuss if that this is bad. We can't even have a fun tongue-in-cheek conversation about how I like this better, this is doing better, this is this, I don't like this. because I feel like we just don't have that kind of playful energy on the internet anymore. I loved a good troll account, a good troll, and that's all we were doing. We all knew that it wasn't that serious, that it was just fun to go back and forth.
Mm.
It faded out because you all get older. It's not important anymore. But the social media really took off. It wasn't the message board, so then it moved to like Facebook and Twitter and things like that. But I really was on the Britney. I was part of the Britney army because they all have names. Like you have the Swifties and you have the
The
Rihanna,
Bayhive.
the Rihanna Navy, the
The
Britney
Rihanna
army.
Navy. The
Yeah,
Bayhive. There's
the
the
Beehive.
Bayhive.
Well, now there's
There are the Barbies.
Barbs, yeah. Now there's some people you don't mess with because this is not anything about, I'm not talking bad about people, but it did go, I am gonna probably be a hypocrite. Some of the fandoms did turn to where they're like bullying online. Not all, but the Beehive was really known for that. The
Mm.
Barbs, the Swifties are really known for being ruthless, where they would like find your address and find stuff and like kind of troll and
Oh, they would dox.
yes, and I found that the Britney Army never did that. We were very aware of the complexity of our favorite and the things that was going on. And of course, it was breatheheavy.com, so it was like catered to Britney, but the general section was the most popular, and it was about every single like pop star and movie and all kind of stuff going on. So what's your experience with the fan culture like that, or the stan culture? Because even movies have stan cultures, and there's a big deal with the Scream fandom with Melissa Barrera and all of this.
Yeah. Well, yes, there certainly is that. Actually, I was going to start smaller and work my way up to that.
Start where you want to start.
I'm really grateful that I never got on Twitter. I know that I've been told that it's good if it's a good way to, like any form of social media can potentially, expand your brand. And I know it's a good way to get like short little bits of information because I think there's a 140 character cap on how much you can write in for a single tweet or an X or whatever they're calling it now. But I have literally seen Scream fans like yell at each other over not liking certain ghost faces. We have our mutual friend of the show, Zach Cherry, back before Twitter got bought out by X, and you could actually see the full tweets and all the responses. I used to see people screaming at him, calling him misogynistic and homophobic because Amber wasn't ranked higher on his list of ghost faces, which I thought was which I thought was insane, considering that he's also gay. Not to say that there aren't,
Gay homophobes.
there are homophobic gay people out there. But he's not one of them. And it gets to this point where toxic fandom in particular has this thing where you have to validate. They insist that you validate their point of view. And if you don't, you therefore must be wrong, and there must be something defective about you as a person, and that which therefore warrants any kind of nasty vitriolic response. So I've certainly seen it with that. I've also seen it, but bringing it to what you're talking about, back to Melissa Barrera, who was in Screams 5 and she was in Screams 5 and 6. She was the lead in Screams 5 and 6. And then she was terminated from her contract before Scream 7 started filming because of posts that she made on her own private social media account about Palestine. So I think it was completely wrong of them to fire her for that, but that's not my business. I can't do anything about that. I think people can use their private social media posts to talk about whatever is important to them, as long as they don't smear people or use racist epithets or violently attack individuals as people, with like racist or violent language in their social media posts. I think that as long as you are civil and like have a level of decorum, I think that you should use your private personal page for whatever you want. So, and that you should use it to advocate for the causes that you believe in. It has gotten to the point now where, because Spyglass fired her, there are a barrage of Melissa stans who will flood the pages of anyone excited about the new Scream movie coming out, saying that if you spend money to see this movie, you're supporting a genocide. And this may be a hot take, but I do not think that that's true at all. And I do not respond kindly to being guilted into boycotting something like this for that reason. The reason I say this is because there are many ways that you can show your support for the people in Gaza and the West Bank. There's all sorts of charities that you can donate to. There's all sorts of which I do, and have done and will continue to. There are marches, there are protests. You can write your local elected officials, you can write your congressman. To stop sending arms to Israel. There are all sorts of things that if you wish to do this, you can be more proactive and do a better job of contributing to helping that than by trying to make people feel bad or guilty about wanting to go see a movie. And I think it's a pile of crap, and I will not be personally shamed for that. I won't do it.
I mean, I agree with you. This is where I'm going to be controversial, and I'm going to be. I mean, you could probably cancel me for it, or I don't even believe in that. Um, I
If
don't.
I only knew how.
I don't think Melissa Barrera is famous enough for all of this. I don't really buy into that. There's a lot of stand like and that's not a read. She's in just two Scream movies. Like I don't, and she was
Sure.
in The Heights, and she was in a TV show. But it's not when people. I know there's receipts of these fans like on Twitter doing this.
She has over 1 million followers on Instagram. I'd say that's
Yeah, but
famous.
that's not that big of a deal if you look at the people that people act like. That's not a huge. I just don't find that she's. I do think within like the Scream community and stuff like all of this is a big deal. But if I was to say Melissa Barrera, which this is where I'm probably a hypocrite or I could get rid to the general public, they're gonna be like, I don't know who that is.
Okay.
Like if I was to go to work and be like, hey, I'm a really big Melissa Barrera fan, they're gonna be like, what are you
Right. Okay.
but if I go
Okay.
and say I'm a Nev Campbell fan or I am even a Jennifer Love Hewitt, like somebody gonna be like, I think I know who that is. Like I think, but if
Or
I,
even Jenna Ortega.
yeah, right, Wednesday, they'd be like Wednesday. So
Yeah.
I just have a hard time feeling like I think this is like that's a niche thing
Hmm.
that there's probably just like hundreds of people, I guess, that are just really good at making noise. So whenever you talk about like Stan Wars and stuff, like if you were to actually have a Stan War, what I'm talking about with Melissa Burley, you'd be like, oh, her only hits are Scream, right? Because In the Heights did not do well, even though people know that. The two Scream movies did extremely well. Everything that she's put out afterwards, obviously it's not her movie. She's in the movies. I'm not blaming her. I think she's a great actress. I enjoy Melissa Barrera. So I'm not hating on Melissa Barrera. I'm a fan of Melissa Barrera. You really just can't bring anything to the table where you're like, she's beating this, she's doing that. Like she's a activist, she's great. There's nothing, but I mean, in standum, like there's. This is so terrible. Like I feel like I feel like I'm conveying, but in this vapid toxic subject that I'm talking about, there's not much to mine there. If I'm being frank about, does that make sense?
What's
Um,
not much to mine where?
okay, so you don't
Oh,
have.
because you're saying that she doesn't have enough clout. They're like she's not famous enough to really.
Yeah, to play this game that
Uh,
people are saying like if you were to pit, which I don't believe in pitting people together, but this is what Stand Wars was like. If you were to play a game where like my fave is better than yours, with Melissa versus Jenna or Melissa versus like Nev, Melissa's not going to win because she hasn't accrued enough of like iconism to does that
Iconicity.
yeah, like
Okay.
it's not a read. It's just like if you're gonna play this game, you don't really have much to play with. I'm not saying this is fact. I'm saying from the world that I'm talking about that we're discussing.
Okay.
Because Jenna Ortega has Wednesday. Jenna Ortega has the Scream movies. Jenna Ortega has what
She was on You for
you?
several
Yeah, but that
seasons.
wasn't. I wouldn't use that because it's a popular show, but she's not. And she also has the Babysitter, the sequel movie that was not.
Sure. I
Uh,
mean, she certainly made
Yes,
a good.
X. X has a
She.
cult following. And then Nev Campbell, I mean, Party of Five, she has the Scream, she has Wild Things, she has things that's lasted through generations.
Mhm.
Once you reach those heights, then it's more, I don't want to say it's protected. I know what I'm trying to say. I don't think it's more if you want to play that game of like who has the more weight, I should say,
Mhm.
people are going to win. But it's not, it doesn't have to be a game. We're talking about Stand Wars. I don't
Well,
participate.
it does. Well, really, but doesn't it though? And you don't like pitting people against each other. What kind of Gemini are you?
I try to be a good one, but there's always an evil side.
Not starting parlor wars, not starting parlor games. What? So yeah, no, I hear. I mean, I get it. But that being said, exactly. So there's definitely, yeah, I think there's definitely an element of ego stroke in the whole thing. So I'm really more fascinated in the psychology behind Stan Wars and why it's so important when you are on a team that your team win specifically because it's like it's not like this person is your friend, or it's not like you know this person. So if
I didn't even know
you
you exist. Yeah.
so it's like if your side suddenly wins, it's not like I don't see how your life would necessarily benefit in any material way. As it would, because it's I understand that it's easier to like get involved in this than it is like sometimes making dramatic improvements to your own life, because that always takes a lot more effort. But
Yeah, I can sit in front of a computer screen and do it. I can feel important
exactly.
for a moment.
There you go. Okay. So exactly. So, but I really do want to know what it is that's so fascinating about this, and why you think it means so much to people. Because like I've reached a point now where like I've always had very strong opinions about like movies and music and art and politics and all that stuff. Politics is different, but I've always had very strong opinions. But I understand that I've grown up, and I have learned that everyone is different. People respond to different music and different art for different reasons. It hit them at a certain points in their life. It resonates them with for certain reasons, and it becomes a part of their identity and becomes a part of ours too. That it does it. Our favorite movies and our favorite music does shape us in a certain way, and we use it as comfort, as nostalgia. So at this point, I have reached the point in my life where I will let people enjoy things because I know it's important to them, while at the same time I have the self-confidence to know that I'm right. So I'm not going to start any fights about it. So I would love to know, what is it about Stan Wars? Yeah.
I don't like Stan Wars now. I think our whole like when you talk about, I think our political system right now is just Stan Wars back and forth with each other. No one gives.
Yeah. We're seeing that. I'll play live on
Correct.
the latest season of the US.
It's crossed over. It's like, yeah. Um,
We're on a reality show now.
yeah. But once I started really being a nurse in the real world, that fizzled out real quick. I did not like tearing people down. We didn't do that. I was just saying, well, this charted this. This did this. It was more like disgusting, and it was like stumbling for me. I can only speak from my experience. It was like stumbling into this world where people loved what I loved, and you studied it like it was an art, like, oh, what's charting here? Oh, this person must be so grand, or what are they doing? What's the like? It must be so strategic, because it was like strategic. It's not really strategic now. It's algorithms now, so I guess it is strategic, but it's organic and non-organic at the same time. Back then, there was like payola, where you pay the radios to play your music, and you had a name that was loyal, and people would just click your stuff because you were a name, or you collaborated with the right person at the right time, and this all came out at the right time. It was all planned, and it was just so you would just have. It was almost like we were discussing and bantering about our favorite stuff. And it didn't really matter if you won, but it felt good if you were like, it's like being a lawyer. You argued your case, and sometimes the other person didn't really have a rebuttal because they were speechless, and you're like, oh, this is fun. No one really got upset. Like back then, like now I think people actually get upset in like plot against a person. I found back in like 2010, in like 2007, like the Stan Wars were more of a place of comfort, kind of like this is. I think I probably will get cancer for this. Like if you ever watched the TV show Pose, where the people in the trans community and the gay community all got together and judged each other, like like with tens and stuff, and they read each other, but it was all out of love. And it was all like a community, but you were battling against your peers because you worked hard, you discussed things, you got better, you learned things, you were able to argue in a specific way. I think all that is quite healthy until it's not. And I think now we're just like, will ruin your life because you don't agree with me. And I think that that's crazy because if I'm a Britney Spears stan, obviously I can relate to a Beyonce fan, but it's not the same thing. I can relate to Taylor Swift, but if my ultimate grand favorite is Britney Spears, I'm not going to really relate to people who are much different. Because I can relate, but I'm not going to totally agree because it's like a totally different world and different thing. Because that's my ultimate fave, right? But that's okay. That's why we all have different things to choose from and can learn from. But I don't think it's that anymore. I think it's more we're gonna band together and make our, which is power. Like these celebrities have power in that way, where they'll make, and sometimes some artists play into that, where they're like, I'll get all my fans to get together and make me number one. So I don't really find that that's organic. I think if you're buying all of these different versions of things and streaming it even though you're not actually listening to it. You're just pressing play and turning the volume down, which is something that stans would do to make it number one to get the streams. I don't think that that's organic. That's why I do kind of like the algorithm with TikTok, because you get things that are hits that aren't necessarily new, that like the general public is liking. It's crossing over the different things. Is this cohesive enough? I feel like I'm going into all kind of things.
No, I find this really interesting. No, I do. And yeah, obviously, again, people like things for different reasons, and you can relate to someone else's, you can relate to someone or understand why someone else would be a fan of someone else and consider them like a member of their fan-based community without actually being one yourself. I've never really done that. I don't, because I don't consider myself part of. There are a lot of artists that I'm a fan but I would never consider myself a member of like their fan base or like name myself one, because I'm not. How do I say this? I love them and I value them as artists and I really appreciate them. But when it comes to their personal lives, I'm not really ready to go to war for them in that way, because their personal lives are theirs and I'm not involved in them. I mean, obviously with the like very slight possible exception of Britney, because obviously she's been through so much and clearly so much. Not that they all haven't. But I mean, that's a different. But that is a different story. In any event, and this, notwithstanding the fact that The Life of a Showgirl is the greatest album that's ever in the history of the medium, but
Sure.
I had to. I'm sorry, I had to. I had to.
As a to clear things up, like we never, when I was a part of Stan Wars, and this has been over 10 years ago, we didn't bring up people's personal life. It was all about chart sales, how they
Right.
performed, like
Oh,
dance wise.
good. Right, exactly. And those are the metrics you use
Yeah.
to definitively say why this artist was better than why my artist is better than your artist, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was never personal life. It was never,
Right.
it was always like, well, the new music video didn't have a heavy dance number and they're not dancing like they used to and the streams are down, so what's your fave doing? Like you like get it together. But it was never personal life. It was always the performance.
Right. No, not personalized, but yeah. But yes. But that was the nature of what the Stan Wars were about. We're like just judging the artists on whatever they were serving,
Yeah.
and making declarations about who was better than who, and this is why. Look at these chart sales, look at this dance routine, look at like
Yeah.
XYZ. But for some reason Stan Wars were about like were about fighting out those battles about who was better, as if there needed to be one. I think that's part. I think that's. Well, I was definitely going to say it's part of American culture, but
Yeah.
I also do. But yeah, because it's so we're so competitive. But I also do think that there's. I think it's part of humanity, whether we would like to admit it or not. I think there's competitiveness that manifests itself in almost all cultures in one way or another. So not like this. I mean, this is like fairly frivolous compared to like what a lot of other people have to deal with. But yeah,
Well, I think it's ingrained in us too because look, we have the Billboard Hot
yeah,
100. Like it's like we have the number one movie in America. Like it's everything that we're exposed to, especially I feel like in our generation, it was like this is the number one movie. Like I think it's a little less now because you have your own personal algorithm, like with your phone. But it's like this is the thing. This is what you need to look at. And I also think that that hinders you. What I loved about the Stan Wars is that there were people who were stands for people who didn't even make it on the charts, and I would be like, "Who is this?" And I would go listen. So it would be that's how I found FKA Twigs. That's how I found not Lloyd, Cheryl from the UK. Like she never really was popular here. She sings. She was a part of the Girls Aloud, I think, band from UK, and she was a judge on the X Factor in UK, and they tried to make her a judge on our X Factor, but she didn't take off here. And I'm a big fan of her music. Like there's Girl in the Mirror, like a song she has. There's that whole album that she has, and she worked with Calvin Harris. I enjoy her. That's how I found Marina and the Diamonds. Like I wouldn't have known her without the Stan Wars. Like I enjoyed her albums. Lee Allen. That's how I found her. So I found a lot of things like through participating in this stuff. But that's when I think it was slightly like not healthy, but I think it was a different kind of ecosystem on the internet back then. I know the message boards were considered toxic, especially IMDb, to the point where IMDb took their message boards away. But that's how I learned about a lot of movies, was the IMDb message boards. People were really ruthless about a lot of things, especially like Curse, the movie. Like I remember being on the message boards, and I got to learn a lot of like, well, this person's casted today. Now it's this. Now they're refilming. Like, and people like would share, articles that are gone now that I can't find, but I remember reading and stuff. So there's a lot of lost things from message boards, I find. It's all frivolous, but I find it important. Like I think it's really cool that Mandy Moore was in the original opening of Cursed, and you can kind of find stuff like that you had all this about a movie that you can barely find now because those websites shut down, the articles are gone. Like it's kind of like trying to find your old MySpace, it's gone. But it was a whole ecosystem that does not exist anymore.
That is really interesting. And I also want to say I really actually appreciate what you pointed out about the Stan Wars being, well, specifically how social media has created our own personal algorithms, which actually kind of keep us in isolation in a way. Because the Stan Wars, I guess, were also still back part of a time, or it's a reminder of a time when there was a community. And the community was based on the fact that there were certain people whose outreach was so far and so wide that it connected us all in some way.
Hmm.
Whereas now everything is so tailored to the individual, which is both good and bad because it can give you what you love, like what you love, or at least it potentially tell, like, keep you put you onto things that you love that you wouldn't necessarily know about if you were only following what everybody else is following. But at the same time, it can put you in your own little bubble.
Yeah, echo chambers are very dangerous.
Yeah, they are. They absolutely are. But so I really do. I like that point. It's about because in a weird way, Stan Wars are about. It is an offshoot, but it is a sense of community. It does give you a sense of community in a way, in a really weird, aggressive way. Like it reminds you that you're part of something bigger. But I also do like the fact that you find out about other artists through these Stan Wars, because a lot of times there are a lot of great artists who come out, but they don't often get the biggest record deals, or if they do, they don't become hugely popular. They aren't marketed. There isn't an angle that the producers think like, oh, we can really make this big. Oh, you end up finding these people that you appreciate anyway because you think they're unique and they have something to say, or they speak to you in ways that the Britneys and the Beyoncés and the Taylors of the world might not necessarily.
I mean, there's a whole bit like that was on, I think, Vine and stuff of like, you're a Zara Larson stan, and it linked back to Zara Larson, and like people know she's a little bit bigger now than she was back then, but they're like,
Yeah.
she has no hits. She has like some like I knew who Zara Larson was. I enjoyed the songs that she sang, but there's like literally a famous thing on Twitter that's like, you're a Zara Larson fan, and it's funny. It went viral. It introduced people to Zara Larson. Like there's Rita Ora has never had a hit, but people know who Rita Ora is because people are like, you like Rita Ora. Like what is Rita Ora famous for? So like people are arguing that really liked her album, but they're like, huh? And they so that playfulness of like she's never had a hit, she's not that, but leads people because I would not know who these people are without this kind of community, right? And I think sometimes that internet, that being like the underdog of the internet gets you far sometimes nowadays because like the general public doesn't know who you are, but you're still working because there's a little niche part of it that people will still rally for you, even if it's negative. Like, does that make sense? Like, it's like, does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. It does. I still wouldn't know a Rita Ora song if it fell on my head, but that doesn't mean that doesn't.
Body on Me with her and Chris Brown, so good. Problematic because Chris.
Yeah.
And then she had that song from because she was in the Fifty Shades of Grey movies for like 2 seconds, and then they let her sing the theme song for the third one because they already got Taylor for the second one, and they got Ellie Goulding in The Weekend for the first one. So they're like, "Girl, it's the third movie. No one cares no more. Have your little single."
Oh my God.
That the Stan Wars jumping out like it's like, whoa.
That's another set of Stan Wars right there, because I know Fifty Shades of Grey started out as Twilight fanfic. So
Exactly, and that's already a shitty IP. So
yeah.
I loved them. I read them. I went to every midnight showing. I loved the Twilights, but it's
Oh,
choices.
thought you were choices. Yeah, I thought you were about to say. I thought you were first talking about 50 Shades of Grey.
No, I don't like pain and I don't like that kind of like stuff. So I saw the movies with my friends. I went through a breakup and there was a like my friends got invited to a private showing of the second movie and they gave me a Xanax and there was also alcohol in the punch that I didn't know at this event. So I was a menace throughout that whole movie because I was like, this is so stupid. Like, what is this?
That reminds me of the time that my friends all smoked a joint before we all went out to the theaters and we went to go see Traffic. It was
A really
amazing.
intense movie.
Yeah, and especially to watch while you're high.
I don't know if I would get through it. I would be like, oh my God.
Actually, my friends were laughing at all the wrong parts. It was really funny. They were giggling at one point. They were like, "Ha ha ha! She's a crack hoe." It was amazing.
Was there a right part to laugh at that movie?
I mean, there were comic moments in it. It was most obviously it's mostly a very very intense film about the American like the drug war in America. So I just thought it was, but we knew that going in. So I just thought it was real. So I just thought it was hilarious. They went to smoke a joint before. But that being said, I know you don't like Pain, but there is a movie a similar like about S&M culture that's actually kind of similar to Shades of Grey in a way, but it came out, I think in 2002. It's called Secretary. I don't know. Have you seen this movie?
I've never seen that, but it always came up on the internet about how it's Maggie Gyllenhaal's best role.
It was the movie that made her a star, and it's a dark comedy, and it actually is kind of funny
Well, see,
at
this is
times.
the thing. I enjoy banter. So if we're like reading each other, so maybe I do like some of that demoralization kind of thing, like verbally. And if there's fun, if it's witty and stuff, but let's be real, 50 Shades of Grey is not witty and it's for surface level people. You know, not to shade everybody, but they're not good movies, not good books.
No, but yet some yes, but despite them being as basic as F, they were enormous successes.
Yeah, it's fun, it's easy, it's accessible. That's not a read. I think that stuff's great. Like it got people to read. Like it tapped into people to feel comfortable with a fantasy. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
It's just not for me. I should be like I'm being playful with the Stanmore thing. Those movies meant a lot to people. Like Twilight is not good in my opinion, but I loved the shit out of it and I loved being a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to say that it's not well done, but I love it. So I was at every showing of like the first night of Twilight, read every book. I went to the DVD release, got lost, ran out of gas, but I still wanted my DVD of Twilight. Like I bought like the special drink at Hastings just to because it was fun. It's fun to be with people who love that stuff. And that's another thing I loved about being part of Stan Wars. We can admit when an album was not good. Like we as Britney fans, we all knew that Britney Jean, the album was shitty. Like it was not a good album.
Mm.
And we were able to discuss that and be like, it's not good. What is our fave doing? We done lost this war. Like it, but did I still enjoy songs on it? Yeah. Did I still play the shit out of them? Yes. Like I'm able to admit when stuff's not made well or stuff's made fast or stuff's made not in the same quality as things that came before it. It still can be enjoyable. I think that's where things people get me wrong and people get things wrong. It can be cheap, done not to its best ability. We can expect better, but we can still enjoy it because entertainment is subjective. I mean, the quality of it, like physical quality of some things can be not as great as before. Like it cannot be clear, crisp. Like could have went through. We could have wrote it better. It could be all these mistakes and stuff done, but you can still enjoy it. I'm not gonna. I don't like. I agree with you. I don't. I'm not. My intention is never to take that away from people. I just want to have a discussion about it because it's fun.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now I'm trying to remember my Britney album ranking, and I can't like offhand.
I'm
Like
sorry
I
if you're a Britney Jean stan. It's okay. It's okay.
No, it's okay. No, I mean, it was dead last for me too. But
If In the
anyway.
Zone is not number one, then I don't want to hear it.
Oh no, I think I had In the Zone pretty low too. I have to go. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
My top two are Glory and Blackout.
That's perfectly acceptable. Those are
Okay.
fantastic albums.
Okay.
Not that you need my permission. There's a lot of bops on both of those albums.
Yeah.
Obviously, Blackout is the pop Bible. I give it that. But I still love
Yeah.
it on more.
Yeah. I actually think Glory was her best album, but
It's very playful, and her voice sounds fantastic on Glory. Like,
Yeah.
Just Love Me, Invitation,
Hmm.
those are great songs. Like, I love,
Yeah.
what is that song? Just Can't Do It Without Ya.
Yep.
That,
No, I think yeah.
I like that song. I
I
was,
think it was actually. I think it was actually. I think that album actually was actually serious artistic growth for her,
hmm
and I'm really surprised, and I'm sad that she didn't, make another one after that, because I feel like that was the start of like her going in like a really in a more mature direction. That really could have like seen more of what she had to give. But listen, she deserves the world, and I hope she's living her. I hope she's just living her. I hope she's living her best life in peace.
yeah.
I hope that she's happy.
I don't worry about Britney Spears. I know this is not the subject that we're talking about because
No.
I know that there's people still taking care of her because obviously her bills are paid. She's not in trouble legally or anything like that. I
Yep.
think it's like if you give somebody, this is giving a lot of leniency, I know. If you were to give me social media without having social media and having the life I had for 30 years and I was used to performing in front of a camera, a lot of things that she does, which could speak a lot to me, and I just know not to put it on the internet, I do in my home. Do I spin around and dance and sing all the time in like some ratchet looking clothes? Yes, I do.
Yes.
I don't put it on the camera, but I do all that stuff. But all Britney
Hmm.
knows is to perform for the camera. So I don't think that she
Yes.
comes off that crazy to me because we got
Yeah.
to grow up with social media. She was under conservatorship during the big social media boom. So and she didn't get to control it. It was curated for her. So now someone handed her a phone and said, you're free, do all this stuff," and she's stressed and she's alone. I don't think I think it's a window into. I mean, we all see the adults that are like in their 60s on Facebook. It's cringy. Like I mean, but that's all they know what to do because they didn't grow up with it. Um,
Mm.
I have grace for those people because if you don't have a curated social media, like you don't understand it, you're gonna come off weird. Like if you don't understand it,
Mm.
because it's a glimpse into a thought. I feel like I've been blessed that I got to grow up in a time where we didn't take social media that seriously, and then it becomes your persona. But I understood that transition. There's a lot of people who never were there for that transition on how to curate. Because we all do it, and people can say, "I don't do it." I'm really honest on social media. No, you're not. We all put out what we want to be like on social media because we understand it. So
And thank goodness, yeah. No, I was gonna say, and thank goodness I did not take social media too seriously at a time when I really could have, and it could have been bad. Because I do remember seeing a tweet recently where someone said, "I miss the MySpace era when you got to rank your friends. Some of you all need to be put in your place."
I agree with that too. When I was mad at my friend, I'm like, "I'm gonna drop you down," and no one noticed. No one gave a shit. But it made me feel good.
The MySpace era was so unhinged.
That's another fan war. I'm gonna have a fan war on
I
my.
know you're like I'm no I'm gonna like I'm gonna have a war with my friends. I'm gonna rank you all. It's like wait, why did I drop to number 3 today?
How messy. Like I think that's one thing they don't get. Like our generation, I think we're really resilient because I think we were, and I'm gonna cuss, I guess, but we were messy as fuck, and I love that. Like, but we knew that about each other. Like, we were going to the club and business casual. We would fight for real with hands and fists and shit. Like, and then we would be friends afterwards. I mean, I didn't because I'm a punk, but my friends did.
Oh, shit.
I'm not gonna fight. You think this smile, my
I
teeth,
did.
this face
Yeah.
is my moneymaker? I'm not
I
messing
know.
this up.
I know. I know. I know, cutie pie, and I feel the same way. No, look. I know. No. Yeah. No. No. I.
But no, to
Yeah.
be fair, like I think our generation, which every generation does, is a very special one because we understand how do you say it? We understand sarcasm differently than I think other people do. We understand the joke differently. Like we understand that nothing's serious, but everything's serious all at the same time. It's a really hard thing to teach. Because I do end up teaching a younger generation right now, and they don't get that I'm never serious. Like, but I am serious. They don't understand the fine line of comedy versus like this is very important.
Oh, I agree, and I'm sure I'm probably already said some things tonight that people will take offense to.
But I don't really care anymore. It's fun. It should make you think. If I make you mad, then think about why you're mad and research it or whatever. I hate that term, research it. We're not scientists. We're not going and doing all that shit.
Yeah.
Just listen to people talk and form your own opinion about how you feel. If I piss you off, Good. Think about why I pissed you off.
Sure, but I do think there's also a place for accountability and the possibility that I may have said something that really
Yeah.
that was potentially harmful, and I'm open to hearing. And I'm open to hearing about why, and I should, and I should be, and I feel like, and I would expect it the same of anybody else. But that
I,
being said, yeah, we are all entitled to our own opinion, and we should be allowed to express it.
yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Because if I do offend you, I hope people always feel that they can come to me and be like, "Hey, that really upset me," and I'm like, "That was not my intention. Can you please teach me about what was wrong with what I said? Because
Yes.
I may not understand that could
Yep.
offend people." I'm totally open to that.
Yes.
I learned a
Yes.
lot by that because I want to get it.
That's the better half. Yes, that's the better half of me. The petty half of me is just like, I'm sorry your feelings were hurt by my truthfulness, and like
No, I
I'm sorry my facts hurt your feelings. No.
that is my
Oops.
biggest thing. I never really want to hurt anybody. I don't ever
No.
want to. So, yeah.
No. 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 No.
No.
And when I do, they'll know it.
Correct. I would say if you intentionally hurt me or somebody I'm really close to that's vulnerable, then I
No,
don't give a
like
shit.
yeah. No, exactly. It's like no, when I'm upset with somebody, they'll know it. So that's different. So other than
No,
that,
I also
no.
don't like that thing because I'm like I'm kind of like have anxiety and I'm like, but then why do I feel like I've upset you? So do I do know it right now? What's going on? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah,
What do you
I know.
mean?
No, I know. I do sometimes do that too, and I think it's a survival tactic from people who were not given enough emotional support as kids or were emotionally abused as kids. It's like this fear that like, oh no, did I say something that upset you? Like the automatic presumption that I said something wrong because we were frequently told that too much. Like not just when we actually did, but sometimes when we didn't. So, in any event, okay, so that's a little bit of my therapy session coming in there that was not expecting. But I mean, isn't this all just therapy? I
Yeah.
feel like this is all
Isn't
therapy.
that why we watch other people to learn to get and like to relate to and to like escape our world and be in our world like this,
Hmm.
for a moment. I think
Exactly.
I'm pretty interesting if people want to come be in my world. I mean, there's Taco Bell and Buffy and Brittany and some really nice clothes.
Except for Taco Bell, I'm here for all of it. Though I guess I mean, although no, I'll still pass on Taco Bell even if there is another restaurant around for like 15 miles. I don't care. Not doing it. I'll go to the supermarket and make some soup.
Oh, that sounds so good. I just don't want to clean it up.
I mean, all right. I get it. Anyway, I think that's all I have.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great. I mean, I don't mind a shorter episode, but I do want to end it with. I know you've never taken part in stand-up except for. I was gonna say that's actually not true. You stand Ghostface because you love Scream, so you or Ghosty or whatever.
Was I? Yeah, I don't think, but I never got into Stan Wars about it.
Do you?
Wait,
You're a
did
part
I?
of. You're a part of Patreons. You discuss it all the time, and you
Oh,
different films against other films. And
yeah.
everything. I've been
Yeah, but
there.
yeah. But I'm trying to think back if I ever got into fights with anybody in the Patreon community
It's
about
not a
it.
fight. It's not a fight.
The
It's a
Stan War.
debate. A stand for it's a debate. It's
It's a
never
Stan
ugly.
debate. I'm trying to think. I mean,
If it got ugly,
what
I
am
was
I
never
talking
ugly.
about? Yes, I have. Yes, I have with you.
Yes, like I mean our whole relationship is a stand war.
Yes, I have, and it was with you. I didn't mean to start it either, but it just all I did was I think I said, "What did I do?" Oh yeah, I remember what I said.
What'd you say? I don't know if I remember this.
Oops. Oh, I do. Well, I think it was something. No, it was something about how Mrs. Loomis would have been my least favorite Ghostface if it hadn't been for Laurie Metcalf. And then I think you were like, "Was that a negative, disparaging remark about Scream 2 about my baby?" And I was
Yes,
like, and I was
exactly.
just like, "No, Scream 2 was a good boy. Scream 2 was perfect.
That banter is so fun to play with the
Yeah,
like the
they did a bang up job."
but that's why I love it. Like it's if you can
Well,
play
sure, if it's fun, yeah, if it's playful, yeah, if it's
it's hard on
playful,
the
yeah.
internet to be playful though if you're not hearing tone.
Well, it's also yeah, correct. If you don't, and also especially if you don't know the person on the other end of the computer screen, then you're just yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yes, but then again, I was never in those Stan Wars back in the day. So, And the chat rooms were something else, especially on IMDb. Good grief.
IMDb did have chat rooms, didn't it? I never
They
got
have chat rooms and
yeah.
they would get out of they shut the chat rooms down. Things got out of control.
Well,
They never brought them
they shut
back.
the message boards down too because people were too negative on those.
That's what I meant, the message boards. They shut the message boards down because people were just getting wild on it. And it was just like, that's the kind of Star Wars that I remember seeing.
Well, I was in them. I was a Bandit 06. I still am a Bandit 06 on IMDb, but I would frequent all the message. I would frequent the Ginger Snaps message boards, the Cursed message boards, the Scream 3 message boards, because we would talk about the chance of Scream 4. I was on the Scream 4 message boards. That's how
Being a menace, I'm sure.
No, I was never a menace because I was very timid back then, but they ruined the ending of Scream 4 for me in that message board. But
Yep.
then it slowly went away.
Yes. I remember. Well,
After that.
actually, oh, that's it. See, unfortunately, I ruined the ending for myself, and I wish I hadn't done it. Because I mean,
It's
it
not
was
a,
literally in the I what?
it's not a good movie anyway. It doesn't matter.
No, it's not a particularly good film,
I'm kidding. I actually do like it. I just love to hate it.
but I know, but no, but I do remember being so excited about it, and then seeing it literally in the subject line, a Scream 4 spoilers, killers revealed. So I did it to myself,
She
and
goes, I'm gonna click on this.
I wished I hadn't, but at the same time, when I found out who it was, I was like, I really like this. I was like, I really like this, just because I'd known ahead of time like who the characters were. So when I saw that, I was like, I think this is actually a really smart idea. And then I saw it play out on screen, and I thought it was easily the ace up its sleeve.
And then
So yeah, yeah,
see, that's how
but it
Stan Wars go, but like Scream 2 made more money than Scream 4. Scream 2 made
well, it
actually
did, didn't it?
doesn't it have more stars or does it not have more stars than Scream 4? Because Emma Roberts is a pretty big star now to me. I love Holiday.
Oh, you love what?
Her movie Holiday. I watched it on Thanksgiving.
Okay,
She's not as big a star
yeah.
as people, but
She I think, well, yeah. Well, she has 20 million followers on Instagram, so that's.
man, that's a lot.
Hmm.
If only each one of them bought a ticket to that movie.
Yep. Yeah,
That's how Stan Wars go. It's
it does. It's true. But it is also interesting. I think because a lot of it has to do with her age and her also growing up in the era of social media,
yeah.
um, and knowing
She's a
how to
scream
market
queen.
herself and market that. Look at Scream Queens. I mean, because she's. I think Julia Roberts, her aunt, has 12 million followers, something to that effect, something like that, which is still a ton. But Emma has 8
Well,
million more.
that's an
She has
interesting subject.
not and she has not had was never the huge box office movie star that Julia Roberts was at back in the day. At one point, she commanded, I think, the biggest paycheck in Hollywood for Aaron Brockovich at $20 million. Obviously, she has an Oscar, and she's been nominated for 3 more Oscars. Julie Roberts had at least to the, well, she's had so far a much bigger. Obviously, she's been alive longer, so who knows what's going to be in store for Emma Roberts down the road. But my point is that I think it has to do with Emma's age and the popularity of the shows of whatever she's doing now and her ability to market. Several of the Stranger Things cast members have over 20 million Instagram followers, but it's Stranger Things. So it's really, and also I think it just depends on what you do. I think depending on who, not saying all the time, it's obviously it's always movie stars, but it's also always musicians and athletes also are the ones that really seem to just blow up. You'll find them like they were like hundreds of millions of followers.
I hate to admit this out loud, but I think we're past the days of people like Julia Roberts where they can command such a career because we don't have movie stars anymore, right? We do, but they're still a figure of the past. Like we have Anne Hathaway, we have Meryl Streep.
Right, but the studio system is not the same as it once was. Things have shifted now. People are streaming now. There's Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime and all these other services that started off as just streaming services, but now they create their own shows and their own films. And the way we watch movies is not the same. And also, movies are so expensive now that people just don't go to them in the theaters as much as they used to, unless it's a huge event like Wicked.
That was so magical to see a blockbuster at that
Right.
to watch that, which I think that kind of inflates how good Wicked is, even though I had a great time. I think
Mm,
Ariana Grande deserves the world. I think Cynthia
mm,
Erivo deserves the world. I think they're friend. I think it's a lot of talent, but I also think it allows people to be a little lazy because the pacing of the second movie was a little questionable in my opinion. But I had the best
mm.
time. I cried. I want to see it again. They're really rewatchable. I want more of that. I miss that. Like all of Julia Roberts that I watched growing up are very rewatchable. I
Hmm.
think that's also a thing. Like I think we don't have a lot of rewatchable things anymore. And I think that's what makes movie stars. Because like, if I see a movie with Julia Roberts like on Tubi or streaming, like it because I have like Samsung TV and like random movie stream on their movie thing. If a Julia Roberts movie like Stepmom or Pretty Woman or one of my favorites is Mona Lisa's Smile. If any of that's ever on, I'm gonna sit and watch the whole thing because there's something magical about movies from that time. Like they're just so rewatchable, and you get to know all these characters. Which I know we're moving into a different subject, but like Mona Lisa Smile has an amazing cast. Has Kirsten Dunst, Julia Stiles, Julia Roberts, Marsha Gay Harden,
Oh, wow.
and other people. Like I miss stuff like that. That's just a show of talent, a great story. Everybody gets their moment. It's balanced. It's one of my favorite movies growing up, because I mean it has Maggie Gyllenhaal in it as well, and the lady from Win a Date with Tad Hamilton. She was in Once Upon a Time, the TV show. She played the evil queen, or Snow White. She played Snow White. Sorry, not the evil queen. She was in How to Lose a Guy. She was in Why He's Not That Interested. She was in that, and she was in Something Borrowed. But it has all those stars in it, and I just miss like that. Like I miss all of that. It's all the nostalgia. As Stepmom, I cry every time. Susan Sarandon,
Stepmom.
Jenna Malone. It's a great
Stepmom.
movie. It's a great movie. And that kind of movie would just go straight to streaming and be low quality, but that was just such a beautiful movie, like and well made. We're getting off subject, so I think it's time to end the show. But
It's
Sam,
okay. No, actually, it's a nice feeling.
if you had to stand somebody, who would get your stand-um, even if it's you're not a stand?
Okay, well, there wasn't. So I don't know. There was a meme that was going around a while ago that said, "When a gay boy turns 13, the universe assigns him one woman working in pop culture, and it is
Yes,
therefore his responsibility for the rest of his life to promote her works at all times."
I love that lore. I love it.
And so, yeah, rationally, for whatever reason, these things happen. I don't know how it works. With music, it was definitely Tina Turner. She
You slay
certainly,
queen.
yes, thank you. Yeah, like a sun rose and set with her for me. With her, still, I'm still not over her not being here with us.
I
But
love that for you, Sam, because she's such a great entertainer. Such a
yeah,
great
she
entertainer.
was. I mean, listen, she didn't die before her time. She lived a full life. She impacted the world, and she fulfilled her life's work in doing what she meant to do. And the trajectory of her career and her personal life is just unbelievable. Thinking of everything that she survived, and that she actually started this meteoric second career at a time when most women entertainers are shown the door because they're viewed as like getting too old. Like it's just
Absolutely.
amazing. And I think of her as Britney's spiritual grandmother. I really do.
Yeah, I think Brittany has ties to a few like Tina Turner and Janet Jackson. Like I
I was going to
think
say, I feel like that is the spiritual ancestry line right there. Those two. Janet
mhm.
is her mother, and Tina is her grandmother. And that is so. When it
What
comes
is
to
it? What are they?
yes, yes. And then when it comes to TV, it's definitely Gillian Anderson. I grew up
Oh,
when.
she's so good in sex education. I
Yep,
love her in that show.
yep, yes, and but when I grew up with the X Files as a kid, and it was that movie came straight off the Silence of the Lambs. Really, before Buffy came out, it was really awesome to see this amazing badass woman on the screen, like not just being. She wasn't like well, actually, she did ending up being a superhero because the way the mythology of that lore of that show expanded, like there was so much going on there with the supernatural and the immortal and stuff like that. It never got to the point where Buffy did, where because Buffy really perfected that show's storytelling arcs by making everything complete and making everything tie together. The X Files never really did that, but the X Files was a big influence on Buffy, and the Alien Conspiracy was amazing, but the Monster of the Week episodes were also really amazing, and it was just so influential and really cool to see this really competent female character on screen who could kick ass and take names and beat people up in heels. I loved it. It was amazing. So that was, as far as movies go,
I can
I'm
see
not
you love
sure.
Nicole Kidman.
I don't know. I think it was, I think it was no disrespect to Nicole Kidman. I mean, I guess definitely Jillian had a decent movie career as well, but TV was definitely where she had like her biggest success, and good for her. It was always just also so exciting to see Sarah Michelle Gellar like anytime she was on the
Yeah.
anytime she made that transition from small screen to big screen. It was during the height of Buffy mania, when it really captured the zeitgeist. She was everywhere, and of course that also jump started the careers, not jump started the careers, but that same era of like the same peer group, like with her and like Reese Witherspoon and Alicia Silverstone and all those people. But as far as like real acting goes, I mean, I love Meryl Streep. I love Jessica Lange. I love Viola Davis. I love Angela Bassett.
Ugh, Viola Davis.
I know. So there are like Sigourney Weaver, Angelica Houston, Jane Fonda. Oh my God, Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda knows I'm alive. Like I locked eyes with her. I locked eyes with her at a charity event, and I melted into a puddle on the floor. And so I do not get starstruck that easily. But oh my God, it's Jane Fonda. So anyway, yeah. But Gillian Anderson and Tina Turner, I have on lock. The gay gods called upon me to sacrifice myself at their altars, and I have done it. So, yes.
Well, obviously mine are Britney Spears, Sarah
Hmm.
Michelle Gellar,
Hmm.
and Sandra Bullock.
I love Sandra. I
Sandra
love
can do no wrong.
Sandra.
I rewatch her movies all the time.
Honestly, even in the movies that she's made that I don't like, and there are plenty of them,
I'll watch them for her. I will watch them
yeah,
for her.
literally, yeah, because she's literally one of the most lovable, down to like her energy is so lovable and down to earth and relatable that like no matter what she's doing, like I feel a kinship towards her. So absolutely, she's fabulous.
You just don't get that much anymore. Honorable mention to Katie Holmes because the bitch was the '90s as well with Sarah Michelle Gellar. Um,
Kate Blanchett too. God, she's so
she's so
good.
sophisticated. She's always been for a fabulous 40-year-old woman.
Kate
Always
Blanchett
been.
is so good. She is so talented. Oh my God.
And she's in a movie with Katie Holmes. Um,
She
bless
is, and
this,
I
not bless this. She's
the gift.
The Gift.
The
So good.
gift.
That was what
Yep.
honestly The Gift made me a Kate Blanchett fan with Katie
Yep.
Holmes as well.
She was so good. And oh my God, Katie Holmes like got naked in it. I was actually really
And she
shocked.
and she was such a cunt in the movie, and I loved it. I was like, she's this is not Joey.
No, no, no. It really demonstrated her range. It really showed her against type, and I'm so glad she was able to get away from.
Tom
I
Cruise
remember. Yep, I remember that.
could have been in The Dark
I had a
Knight.
free Katie
So
T-shirt in
good.
college. I did, or not in college. No, not in college. Later, no. I remember I bought a free Katie T-shirt at one point.
Well,
Yeah,
she's free now, and she makes interesting projects, so I love her. She's a director now.
she
I
is.
keep up
Yes, she
with her.
is. She is. I don't know if I've seen any of her stuff. I do. Yeah, I would like to. I remember reading a lot about. I remember reading a lot about some of the projects that she's done. I would love to do that. Yeah, I'd love to watch some of
And
that stuff.
to end my thing, if you like Katie Holmes, guys, watch Pieces of April and The Romantics.
Oh,
Great.
that's yep.
All right.
Patricia Clarkson. Yep, Patricia Clarkson.
Ah, yeah.
Yep, yep.
Come on. Um,
Yes. All
well,
right.
thanks for listening about toxic standum, and I hope leave a comment. Talk about your standum. Who do you stand? Who do you love? Were you a part of the message board Stan Wars? Let me know. And hopefully we'll see you next week. If not, we'll see you sometime. All right, bye guys.
All right. All right. Good night, everybody.